So it's a new day, and I spent some time installing the new battery in the bus and troubleshooting, trying to figure out what was drawing so much current. And I think I probably have an answer. So I checked the current with the battery disconnected, and the doors shut and everything, and there was no current being drawn, which there shouldn't be. Not in a vehicle like this anyways, not even the radio or any, there's really hardly any electronics that should be drawing current. And so then I tested it one more time, and I just happened to have the door open, and it was measuring about 1 ohm of resistance in the wiring, which is a lot of current. I mean, that's 144 watts of power that something's drawing. I'm pretty sure it's the lights, just the interior lights. So I think what probably happened the last couple of times is the batteries were dying a little bit. They weren't at 100%. The door, unfortunately, is electric, the main door to the bus. But when the batteries are low and the engine's off and I try to shut the door, I don't think it quite shut all the way. And I've noticed that it doesn't quite open all the way either when the batteries are low. So I think that's probably what happened, is that the door didn't shut all the way, so it didn't turn off the interior lights. And I didn't notice, and so that's probably what killed the batteries. So at least I have an answer now. And the new batteries are installed, so the bus is ready to go again. Just need to sort out the trailer hitch problems, and we'll be all set. So you'll have to excuse the mess here a little bit. I'm still getting everything organized. It's already better than it was, but if you notice, this ball here is supposed to just be a standard size ball. This ball mount is supposed to be a standard size ball mount. If you take the ball and try to put it in the ball mount, that doesn't fit. These are different. And if you look at the surfaces, they are also different. This one has a flat mating surface there. This one, I don't know if you can tell on camera, but it's actually a little bit conical. So I think a ball is supposed to just kind of sit inside of this. So unfortunately, the ball and the ball mount don't fit together. Fortunately, the ball mount does fit properly in the receiver, so that's good. But it doesn't come with the pin that goes in the side there to lock it in place. So I don't know. I may end up having to try calling around to one of these trailer hitch installation places and just see if they can sort it out for me and see how much that would cost. It's probably nothing for them, but for me it's a mess. So here are my properly inflated tires. I ended up having to use a bicycle hand pump, which I always end up resorting to because the electric ones are always breaking on me. So I bought a brand new one, which was actually supposed to be a nice model, and it barely inflated the tire before it started smoking. And then I replaced it with the second one, shown here, and it made it through 3 tires before it started smoking, and then I gave up. Went back to the campsite and had dinner. This butane stove is actually really good. It heats up and boils water very quickly, and at nighttime does produce this very cool blue flame. Here I am on Camano Island, back ready for another work week. Found this fairly nice camp spot. It was a little bit louder and a lot busier than some other places, but still pretty nice. Some nice trails out there. The view on the trail from the campsite down to the beach was really quite amazing. This is looking south down towards Whidbey Island and the mainland there. And here it is looking north, more towards Whidbey Island again, which is a much larger island, and just looking out over the water there. It's a beautiful area. Once the weekend was over and I actually had a chance to get down to the beach, things were really very quiet out there, and the water was incredibly still, especially for being a saltwater beach. With my work week over, I left Camano Island and headed up to Birch Bay, which is just north of Bellingham, very close to the Canadian border. And they had this nice campground. Of course, right after I got there, the fog rolled in, and it was just super foggy for the first day of my weekend. I didn't let the fog stop me though, and I got to see these very cool spider webs with dew on them. And I went for a walk from there down to the beach. There's this little trough of water right before the beach that you have to cross over. This is the beautiful view looking out towards Birch Bay. As you can see, it's missing at the moment. I had to get down right onto the beach itself to be able to see the water at all. And there it is. In the morning, I decided to take off towards Semiahmoo. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's up near Blaine, across the harbor from it. And it's a nice little resort area. This was taken down at the end of the point. I'm a sucker for old wooden boats, having built and restored a few myself, and this one's a beauty. I won't be restoring this one, obviously. A little too far gone for my taste. After that, I decided to head up to Blaine. This is actually looking at Canada from the Blaine Harbor there. There you can see the Peace Arch off in the distance, and tons of birds. Lots of migrating birds this time of year. So, because I don't have refrigeration, I've been experimenting with lots of dried things. So, this is top ramen with tons of dried vegetables and dried eggs, which is one of the stranger things I've found that comes in dried form. Seems like they dry everything, but I found some whole dried eggs. Turns out the texture is a little bit weird, but it works. This dried cheese is really good though. You have to be careful finding stuff that doesn't have trans fats though. The next day I went back down to the beach, and look at that, there's actually a bay there. So this is just looking around the bay, and then way off in the distance there you can see a little bit of Canada, and that thing that looks like an island I believe is Point Roberts. As you look further south, that is the San Juan Islands. Since I was up this far north anyways, I decided to jump down into Bellingham and check it out again. Went down to this really nice boardwalk between the waterfront and Fairhaven, and it was really beautiful out. You could see the fog was still out there, just not as close as it was the day before. So as I approached Fairhaven, the boardwalk took this really interesting turn out into the bay, something I hadn't really seen too much before, and all these boats were anchored out there. I have to say I'm a little jealous. I used to own a sailboat that was larger like that I could anchor out and live on, and I had to sell it. So seeing all these boats out here makes me kind of sad and really happy to see at the same time. Someday I'll own my own sailboat again, and it'll be wonderful. On the way back to the campground, I took a detour through the Lumni Nation and drove along the waterfront, and you can see Lumni Island out there in the distance, which is really beautiful. I haven't ever actually gone out this way before, so it was really nice to see. After that, I was just back at the campground again. After my long drive was over, I went back to the beach and found this very interesting artwork made by rocks and seashells. I love it. And here is my supper for the evening. Various dried things. Some potatoes au gratin, which I'm going to add some vegetables to. And just throw it in the pan, basically, and turn it on. And here's my powdered milk. Apparently it's made in Mexico, very common there, but not so much in the US. And it turned out pretty much like it was supposed to. It's potatoes au gratin with vegetables. It's really pretty good.